Hi, everybody. Welcome to this case study on value stream mapping at Equality Italia. My name is Amy. I work at Axelos as an editor, and last year I worked with Luca on this case study, and he is the founder of Equality Italia. Hi, Luca. How are you?
Hi, Amy. I'm fine, thank you. And I'm very happy to be here. Thank you, and thank you, Axelos, for giving me that possibility.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk to you again and see how things have changed since we first talked about this case study together. But let's start at the beginning. Can you tell me a little bit about you and what you do and what Equality Italia does, please?
Oh, yes, yes. Well, Equality Italia is a training company. It was established, next year it will be 20 years since we first established Equality Italia. And before Equality Italia, I worked as a manager in a big Italian software firm. And I was frustrated before founding Equality Italia because I felt that in the companies I worked with, they seem never to understand how to develop people, how to develop myself. And so at the end, I decided to have my very own company that we founded in 2002. We are doing training and also ITIL training and Prince2 training for Axelos.
So would you say that your passion is helping people to develop and just get better in all areas?
Yes, absolutely, yes. Please consider that we help people in developing their organization and in developing themselves. Obtaining a certification is a powerful system for a person to become more confident in himself. So it's very exciting working with people and seeing people growth and growing and having bigger position, more important position in their companies. And it's also exciting to see companies evolve through the years. So we started, for example, with ITIL version 2 many years ago, and now we are still here talking about ITIL 4. So
I was just about to ask you actually what your relationship with ITIL is. You mentioned that you offer ITIL training, and I think on my behalf that the ITIL training is a really good choice for general development and also in organizations. Can you talk a little bit about that and how ITIL works with what you do?
Yes. At first I met ITIL in I don't remember exactly. It could be 2006 more or less. And I was surprised because I found in ITIL version 2 these times the best practices we learned from our American partners when I worked in my former company. But in my mind, until ITIL 4 came out, in my mind, ITIL was something that I teach to my customer. It was not something that I ever thought to use in my own company. And this changed with ITIL 4, because in ITIL 4, obviously, we are still training a lot of people in ITIL 4, but we started applying ITIL 4 in my company that, as you know, is not an IT company. So it's something very, very different from what I did in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's definitely one of the key aspects of ITIL 4 is that it's not strictly for use in IT organizations. It's just service provision in general. And obviously most organizations do provide services. So that's great that that is actually happening in the world rather than it's just kind of us saying that that should be happening. It's really great to hear that it has been useful in that way. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about how you did start to use ITIL in your organization and with value stream mapping in particular. Can you tell me what the problem was? What kind of inspired you to consider value stream mapping?
Absolutely, yes. As I said before, I started my own company because I was not satisfied while working in other companies, also working as a manager. But when I started my company, I had the same problems I had in my former companies. So people were demotivated, roles were not clear, there was a lot of wasted work. In 2016, so it's actually 6 years ago, we started to apply a methodology that make us use a flatter kind of organization. So I thought that this could potentially be the solution, and nevertheless, this has helped, but this has not helped as much as I would like to see in my company. So we still faced a lot of problems, a lot of demotivation. I was not feeling the kind of energy I think there should be in every company. And when I come into contact with the first draft of ITIL 4, namely the concept of value stream, all the company purpose concept, the value concept, I started thinking that yes, this could be the answer to our problems. So more or less 1.5 years ago, we redefined our purpose as a company and consider that since then, we every day at our kickoff meeting in the morning, we remember, we say, have a nice day to our colleagues, and then we say, please remember that our purpose is to make our participants valuable professionals.
Yes, I'm sensing that you're focusing on value, Luca, I have to say.
Absolutely, yes. And this was fantastic. This was magic. I mean, at the beginning, my colleagues think this is a crazy thing, why we are doing this. And day after day, we discovered that every decision was aligned to our purpose. In the past, it was, I don't know, an issue like another. Now it's a serious problem because we failed in our purpose, and we start trying to understand what could possibly have gone wrong, and we start immediately corrective actions. So it was magic in order to focus people on why we are on the planet.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so just for those of you who might not know, ITIL 4 is entirely oriented around value co-creation. And this is what value stream mapping is for. So value stream mapping is the process of identifying every step from demand to value using the ITIL service value chain, which I'm sure you can see elsewhere on our website. And so that's what this activity is all about, is kind of writing down or drawing or using post-its or anything to see exactly what activities will bring value and create value in your organization and for your consumers, your customers. And it's really helpful because it means that then you can see what activities are most valuable and where you're wasting your time and your resources. And so that's what it's for. And Luca, how did you raise this idea? How did you say to people, this is what we're going to do? And how did you convince them that it was the right thing to do?
I think there was no need really to convince people because our flat structure has already enabled us to discuss openly about what we are doing. But I have to say that just remembering people that we are here in order to create value helped them to focus. I explained them the concept of value stream. We met all together for 3 days, for a 3-day session, and we together mapped all our activities. We decided what are our value streams. At first, it is what it's written in the case study. We had identified 3 value streams. Now we have a simpler structure, so we are still working on that. Now we have a very simple value stream that says, first step, we identify an opportunity to create value, looking at the intellectual property owner offers, like you, for example. So this is an opportunity we catch, we pick that opportunity, and we start integrating this opportunity with other trainings, and we start to tailor this intellectual property for our market, our customers, our country. This is the second step of the value stream. The third step is actually producing courseware, and the fourth step is delivering trainings and delivering exams. So we have simplified the value stream structure since our first release that was published in the value stream. And this also was fantastic because in the 3 days we were able to map all of the activities that every day every one of us do as part of our job. We were able to link these activities to the value stream. And we were also able to clearly spot interfaces that were not working, duplicate activities, waste. Just a simple example for you, without becoming too technical. We were used to have the customer administration department preparing the data for invoicing, and the financial department actually invoicing to the customers. We discovered that this was an interface that possibly generated waste, reworks, and in every case, a loss of time. So we moved from the financial department to the customer administration department, the invoicing part. It's so simple, but in the past, reasoning on a silo mentality, invoice were something for financial management, not for customer administration. And we had a lot of examples like that. So we were able to improve a lot our productivity.
I think it's a really, really good example of the kind of thing where just the increased visibility, you're right, it's obvious. You see it once you've done the mapping, it's there in front of you all at once. And it's like, oh, how did I not see that before? So that's a really, really good example. Thank you. And I'm just looking at the case study that we did obviously before. And I've seen the image of the outputs for just the one very simple value stream map that we talked about in the original case study, and seen how much information has come out of that. And it is really, truly an astonishing amount of information that you've mapped just to one really, really simple value stream.
Yes, absolutely. Consider that since this work that you can see in the value stream, all the post-its on the wall of our office here in Rome, since then we have moved all these in an automated system, so it's all described. We have procedures for each one of these activities, very clear procedure that can be modified directly by the people working on that. So there is nothing imposed by the organization. And we use this work in order to, for another simple example, to obtain very, very easily our ISO certification this year. So it was absolutely easy to explain how our organization is working. And the value stream has objectives and key results linked to it. So everything is measured, every OKR is published on our management system, and every week we have a look at the OKR of our organization, and we still discuss what we can improve, and we are obtaining amazing results now.
That's really interesting because obviously it's not meant to be a one-time activity, and it's really great to hear that you're continuing to talk about value streams and revise your mapping, because if you do it once, that's good, but things change, you get new processes, things continually evolve. So it's really, really great to hear that you keep going back to look at it. One thing that I was going to ask you is, you mentioned that you set aside 3 days to do the initial mapping. I think one thing that might maybe put people off doing a value stream mapping exercise is that it is quite a big chunk of time to set aside. And it does, it's quite intensive as a process, or it can be, depending on how many processes you have or how many value streams you have in your organization. But do you have any tips to make it easier? Any lessons learned through the process that you would just say, if you're going to do it this way because it's better?
It's a huge question. I mean, looking back at our experience, what we did that was useful for us, at least, is to have some documentation prepared before the meeting. I mean, before the meeting, we prepared some basic information about ITIL 4. So everything was able to understand what are the principles, what is a value stream, what is value. And I prepared the description of the value streams for everyone. Then everyone was free to write down the activity they are actually doing, and everyone tried to map, putting post-its on the wall, the activities they were doing on the value streams. And this was made possibly the first day of the 3 days. So this is called work immersion. And this is powerful because this is a concept that is present also in Lean. And it is absolutely fundamental to understand really what's happening. I think that the simple, if you have not enough time to do the full exercise, having a first meeting just to have work immersion to understand what is happening could be very, very useful. Very useful. So actually, we worked for 3 days, but not the 3 days were separated, so people had the chance to read the material, to think about the material, and to come more prepared to the second session and to the third session.
That's great. Yeah, so I'm hearing prepare in advance, get everyone involved, maybe think and work holistically as well. Sure. That's really great. That's really helpful. Thank you.
Sure. And also focus on value, because we try to be very focused on this. What kind of value are we delivering? Are we co-creating at each step?
Yeah.
I mean, we are delivering value while preparing. We are co-creating while preparing an article on our website. We are co-creating while preparing webinar, while preparing a commercial offer, while talking to the customer. We are constantly co-creating value, and it was very important to remember all the people that they are co-creating value at every step of the process.
Perfect. So I know we've already discussed it a little bit, but let's talk a bit more in detail about your results, or less results and more what you've seen change after this exercise and how it's impacted your organization in general. Do you have any immediate things that spring to mind?
Oh, yes, sure. The first thing that come to my mind is the results we have are we are doing the same results we had 4 years ago with half the people. So our productivity was increased a lot. This year we started with a huge plus 30% of trainings. That was incredibly huge, due also in the pandemic period. And we are obtaining this without stress, I have to say. People is less stressed, less overtime, less of everything, and more results. So, and also our communication is clear.
Yeah. And am I right in thinking that doing this exercise helped you to transition to virtual working? Is that right?
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes. We did this exercise at the beginning of the pandemics, more or less 1 year, a little bit more than 1 year ago. And we were forced to move from training model based on a physical classroom to the actual model that is completely virtual. And we also decided to remain virtual also now that the pandemic is ending, because and we had to change all of our processes. I mean, in our mind, we were so used to the physical process that it took really a lot of time to understand that virtual is fundamentally different. And we have a lot of opportunities more to deliver value, to co-create value. So yes, this was very important as an exercise to reflect on what we can do differently.
Yeah. And I wanted also to mention, just because this is a personal favorite of mine, the fact that people and organizations will often do things just because it's always been done, or we've done it that way for a long time, or this is what the person in this role before me did, so I'm going to keep doing it like that. Can we just talk about that phenomenon and how silly it is, and how value stream mapping can help you to really see the redundancies and problems with that way of working?
Sure. I say in my company, I used to say that very often we work on autopilot. I think that in more or less every company, 80% of the work is done fully on autopilot. I mean, stopping to reflect on what we are doing takes a lot of energy. It's easier to do things like we did before. So this exercise, the value stream exercise, was also a great opportunity to ask ourselves why we are doing this. Is this creating value for anyone or not? And in these, the 7 ITIL 4 principles were absolutely precious, because optimize and automate, think and work holistically, progress iteratively with feedback, are all new mindset that you could install in the people in order to obtain greater results, in order to change, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. So what's next?
Yes, what's next? Well, we are hiring. We are growing. Obviously, we cannot manage our growth with the small team we are. So we are hiring, and we will redo the whole process with a new hire, because the new hire hopefully will bring a breath of fresh air here, will bring new perspectives, and will help us to see other things in our value streams that we were not able to see. And so my general expectation is we are hiring now, I mean, in these weeks. And I think that just before summer, or maybe in September, I don't know yet, we will do from scratch the whole exercise in order to ask ourselves with the new hire, what are we doing and how we can provide more value to our community and to ourselves. So we will simply start again.
That's really great to hear. I'm so excited to see what's going to happen in the future, and maybe we'll be doing a follow-up case study in a couple of years' time.
Yeah, very happy to do if you think that it's helpful, and we'll be very happy to do.
Okay, great. Well, I think that's everything that I wanted to cover. Luca, have we not spoken about something important that you wanted to talk about?
Just a quick mention on something. There is something in the case study, but I would like to mention that we found also very useful the model of the customer journey that we have in ITIL drive stakeholder value. Yeah. And we used also that because at the beginning, when we first wrote the case study, it was not fully clear to me, to the people in the organization, what is the difference between a value stream and a customer journey, because the two sometimes mix together. Now it's clear, and I think that using this model is also very, very helpful. So we now know what onboarding is, what kind of onboarding activities, what kind of offboarding activities, where we should realize value, what means for us, for our customers to realize value. It's also a powerful model.
Absolutely, absolutely. For more information on the customer journey, see ITIL Drive Stakeholder Value in our other publications. It's explained in detail in a lot of different places. And it is a really, really good model. So yes. Thank you for saying that. I agree with you. It's very useful in a lot of different ways. Yeah. Great. Okay, so thank you everyone for listening. If you want more detail on this case study, then you can find the link below. And tune in next time for more interesting content.